Let me post on Discord. Um, hmm. We live. How am I feeling? I'm feeling better. For context, I've been awake for I don't know, and I've been good so far, which is why I went live. But for example, when I was playing Chained Together, I was not feeling good like at all, and it just got progressively worse. um, but I'm hopeful it stays this way. I'm hopeful. We need to slice meat because we're kind of low. I think it's one of the only things we're low on. I mean, we can cut up tomatoes without a problem. Ugh. Yeah, ideally someone else shows up. Been through the ringer. I was actually explaining this to Kilo and Kem while we were playing Valorant earlier. It's been one thing after another, specifically side effects of medication. Um, right, and then being moved to a new medication where the sort of starting normal symptoms are identical to those symptoms. Like it's so fucked, but I'm hopeful it's better. I mean, to be fair, I've taken medication as like starting yesterday to hopefully resolve some of the side effects at least temporarily until again it's sort of uh, a period in which your body has to become adjusted. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. How much meat do we have in total? 62. Yeah, that's not good. You know what's funny, chat? While I was playing with Kilo and Kem last night, because we're trying to do the battle pass stuff for Valorant, right? Because I think in like I don't know, Kem said 2 weeks or something until League battle pass or something comes out. Anyways, um, I forget what I had Googled, but I had seen something related to propranolol, which is the when I say I'm taking my gamer pills, it's propranolol, and it's because of my tremor, right? Like just my general shakiness. Which, if you look at any time I've ever shot a pistol in Valorant, it's so blatantly clear. Or even when I first start playing, until the propranolol reduces my shakiness, right? I started seeing threads on Reddit as like people taking it, questioning whether or not it's cheating. And I'm thinking to myself, hello, cheating. And somebody put it so well in the comment section. Well, actually, okay. Okay, to be fair, one of them was kind of funny because I don't know if they specifically said propranolol, but it was very clearly propranolol, right? And the top comment on it said W drug abuser. I know I shouldn't, but I busted out laughing at that, right? And their whole thing was like they're bad at Valorant um because of their shakiness. And after taking the medication, like they're like really fucking good, right? Because they no longer have to deal with their fucking shakiness when they're shooting. And somebody in another thread, because this had me going down another rabbit hole of like there can't just be this one, right? So somebody said if you're prescribed the medication because you have a genuine issue, it's not cheating. It would be the equivalent I'm paraphrasing here, but they pretty much said it'd be the equivalent of claiming somebody with asthma taking their inhaler is cheating. And that put it into perspective so well for me. Because it's true. It actually is true. Listen, I can breathe normally, right? Somebody with asthma can't. Somebody taking an inhaler or using an inhaler doesn't mean they're cheating because they can now breathe like a normal person, just like my shakiness. You know, my shakiness most people don't experience. I just thought it was funny, all the comments that I read. You know what? The one that I read specifically that prompted all this, let me see if I can find it. It was actually so well written. I'll read it to you guys. Honestly, it kind of reads similar to the whole like, y'all know the grilled cheese thing I always had people read? Hold on. Um okay, it actually started with a Reddit thread titled hold on. Titled Propranolol, an unfair advantage or godsend to performers. And it was referencing music at the time, right? I was like, wait, really? And then I started looking into it. Um Okay, all right. This is how it's titled. You can tell it's going to be good just because of the title. I took a performance enhancing drug and this is the result. Okay? And you see in this hold on. Where is it? They post a screenshot of their kills in the game, right? But it's what they wrote that's like everything. It says, well, not exactly, but let me explain. Um I have minor tremors, hand shakiness, which manifests when I'm excited or under pressure. Recently, hold on. Recently, I got prescribed a drug which can temporarily suppress the tremors by lowering my blood pressure a bit to make me calmer. And today I decided to try it for the first time with Valorant. Um, I'm usually extremely bad in ranked when it comes to getting kills because my hand constantly shakes. I never even top fragged in a comp match. But as soon as the drug uh, took effect, I immediately felt a difference. I stopped panicking. I became more focused and logical, and most importantly, I suddenly got the ability to aim like a real boy. My long range aim was steady, my recoil control was clean, my flicks were smooth. At one point, I turned off the sound to speak with a family member, and while I spoke, I and an enemy Viper went around a corner simultaneously. But instead of freaking out, my muscle memory one tapped him, which I've never done. The muscle memory part, I'm not that bad. Because I physically couldn't make consistent hand movements. This is fucking me in a nutshell, by the way. Nothing consistent about me. Um, Look at the scoreboard. All players have placed or have placed in a rank order. But then there's me. I played so well that I got 30 RR after the win, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the maximum amount you can get. And it's not that the opponents were bad or I got carried. I actually played well. I took a lot of fights. I won the absolute majority of them. I even assisted a ton with abilities and spraying, as indicated by my assist count. I'm just stoked that I'm no longer handicapped by my physical form, and I wanted to share my experience with you. I'm also interested to hear your opinions on this topic because you might say I'm cheating, which by the standards of real sports is true. TLDR, medication for my tremors transformed me from a very bad Iron 3 player, aim-wise, to someone who top fragged above 2 Bronze 3 players instantly. And this is the one where the top comment was W drug abuser. But somebody, was it this one? Um, that wasn't this one. It was another one. But like, it's so well written. But that describes me to a fucking T. Straight up, it does. It literally does. Listed as a performance enhancing drug for sports. Okay, now here's the thing. I would actually believe that to be true. Here's why, right? Um, for somebody who does not experience the hand shakiness, and again, look at any of my VODs of me playing Valorant, you will see my shakiness when I'm shooting a pistol or shooting any gun other than a marshal, even a marshal, an op. Like I don't know how to explain it, but if you do not need the medication outside of for solely the purpose, hold on, sedatives, and I don't even want to pronounce that, are used in sports like archery, which require steady hands and accurate aim, and also to overcome excessive nervousness and discomfort for more dangerous sports. Diazepam, nicotine, and propranolol are common examples. Interesting. You know what's funny? When my doctor originally prescribed it to me, he said, "Listen, you know, you're gonna have pretty much like I think it was just a maintenance dose. Is that it? Like a daily, just like baseline, and it's gonna be relatively low, and it should resolve most of like the overall like shakiness. However, if you do plan on doing anything that requires sort of more attention or focus, it wasn't attention or focus, it was like accuracy, if you will, then I have the like non-extended release version, which is like used on an as needed basis.
Gracias.
And like, it's crazy to me how much of a difference there actually is. Y'all know when I say I need a game to warm up, that's roughly like the time before the medication takes effect. Straight up, it just is. Like that is the reality. And I was very upfront and honest with my doctor. Like, I used to not have these issues, chat. Okay, but you know, fuck me. I don't see a distinction between prescribed and non-prescribed drugs. You follow. That's actually interesting because there are certain medications that need to be prescribed in certain countries and not others. And I'm curious to know. I would imagine propranolol has to be prescribed everywhere, but who knows? You know what I mean? Like, now I'm curious. um, Actually, somebody else posted on that Reddit thread and said, on, just grab these. They said people acting like you're e-doping or something. You have a medical condition that's treated by a prescribed drug. Take it as directed in a way it's supposed to be, or in a way it's supposed to be a performance enhancing, since your tremor / anxiety cause you to underperform. They also said it's like having your gout treated and suddenly you're running much faster. It's true. It's true. You were told you can't take your diazepam with you if you visit the EU because it isn't allowed there. That's interesting. There's a lot of things that I haven't considered. Like, I know if I travel with my insulin, no issue, right? There's no issue. But if I were to travel, like, I don't know the regulations of every medication ever. Because you're right. Like, if it's illegal there, it doesn't matter if you have a prescription. Like, they ain't giving it to their citizens. They're sure as hell not going to let you fucking walk in with an exception. Oh my gosh, that's something I'm going to have to look into.
Hello. Yeah, I was outside looking for you.
But there were some other things that were.
Go get. I will not go get them.
Hold on.
I got the receipts to turn in.
You can take your prescribed meds overseas if you take the package with the prescription label on it. The package? What if the pill bottle had? Oh, the pill bottle with like the little label on it doesn't count. Even take your birth control to countries like America because laws. I don't know. Like, truthfully, I don't think anybody should be allowed to transport anything not in a labeled container. I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster, you know? Boxes and bottles. Some things come in boxes. Some pills specifically. Like, when I was on Accutane in high school, that came in a box. Not only a box, but a individual like pill packet thing that you had to pop out, and it was the most frustrating thing because if anybody here has ever been on Accutane, you will know every single thing on it. Doesn't matter because Accutane's no longer a thing, but they're all the same. They all have a picture of a pregnant person with a cross going through it, reminding you consistently you cannot get pregnant while on Accutane because of the incredibly high risk of birth defects and stuff. So much so that anybody on Accutane has to get their blood work done every month. You have to answer like a phone survey every month, and I believe they require people to be on birth control, if I recall correctly. In addition to getting like pregnancy tests done. It's like it's crazy, actually crazy. My metformin came in a pill bottle. But I guess it also depends on the kind you get. I don't know. I don't know. Interesting, Arfi. I honestly, traveling with medication was not something I ever considered because most of my things are like, you know, related to my diabetes. And then you start looking into medications. Like I've been on omeprazole because of like acid reflux and stuff. And then like I started seeing things online about how that's not intended to be a long-term thing, which is why if you buy it over the counter, you never see anything over a 21-day supply. I think 14-day supply maybe. 21-day supply. It's something like that. It's a strange number. And then I'm thinking to myself, I've been on this shit for years. I've been on this shit for fucking years. And more recently, I had a vitamin B deficiency as a result of it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, actually, how I found out, okay, don't judge me, okay? It was on TikTok, all right? But it was a doctor who was like, I don't know why that's the case because the doctor should be working on figuring out the underlying issue. But, like, what the fuck's the underlying issue to like acid reflux? Like you can't just resolve that, right? Am I dumb? Am I dumb? Like I don't think you can. That is the underlying issue, is it not? Am I dumb? Mild food allergy. Really? Yui. Oh, I can't even pronounce that. Barrett's. Why have I've read something related to Barrett's recently, but it's not just Barrett's. It's something else. Isn't there a word or something before it or after it? I forget what it is. Okay, we can make a decent amount. Let's do 5 more.
What did you just do?
Sorry, we're not doing anything crazy right now, chat. Number one, I just want to talk, but also we need to prep before we serve a gazillion people. Whoops. There we are. Pika, thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate it. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Considerably better. I don't actually feel like shit today, so that's good. Mm-hmm. 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 But yeah, like I said, it's crazy how well, happy birthday. It's crazy how okay, again, I know I jokingly sort of, in a lighthearted way say I'm taking my gamer pills, right? And 90% of people who are not regulars here assume I'm talking about Adderall. I'm not, to be clear. It is propranolol. Lots of GI stuff and men in your family. It's funny that you mentioned that because I've always said a lot of people more than likely fall into one of two categories. Somebody who gets like migraines, headaches, and stuff often, or somebody who gets like stomach aches, nausea, stuff like that. I'm the stomach ache person. Always have been, always will be. I get a few headaches a year. I say a few as in like one, maybe two. And they're bearable. They're not like migraine level. The only time I've had like a migraine or headache that was like really bad was when I had COVID. But like outside of that, I have family members who are the complete opposite. Like stomach related stuff, never, not unless they somehow get like food poisoning. But migraines and stuff are like terrible migraines. You ever seen an allergist did some common RAS testing? So I don't know what RAS testing is specifically. I have gotten I went for 2 rounds of allergy testing. One was a vague, sort of overall category, and then they did specific kinds of things. I did that when I was younger. When I was younger, they told me I was allergic to cats and dogs. And then the one that I did, this was anywhere between 5 and 10 years ago. They said I'm not allergic to dogs at all, but I am allergic to cats, and quite allergic to cats. And like other, dust, pollen, typical stuff. But they kind of just do like a chart thing on your back and then poke you a gazillion times. That's what they did to me. It's prick testing. So this other testing, is it just a blood test and then they test against other things, or because I'll be real, if I could do that, oh, that'd be phenomenal. Blood draw test. Oh, it sounds so much easier. I fucking love this song. Prerequisite for being a curve. I think most of my mods probably have migraines. We are almost done before we can start prepping. If I got headaches, is minor eye strain or sinus headaches if you have a cold. Ooh. I've never really had much with my sinuses, but I think it was my ENT suggested that I get a, oh my god. Oh my gosh, what's the fucking thing? It's to rinse out your sinuses. And oh my god, that was kind of life-changing for a bit. It wasn't a neti pot. It was no. Very similar though. Very similar. You don't hold it like, you don't necessarily tilt your head super sideways. It's a plastic bottle. Hold on. Found it. It's Neilmed, Neilmed. It's a bottle that has a tube that runs down the center to the bottom, so you can hold it upright and just slightly tilt your head as opposed to having your thing completely sideways. Yes, yes. Okay, I never realized. Like, listen, I did that. All right, and I'll never forget going out to my car. Hold on, let's do this. I'll never forget going out to my car. I had to put... Oh, shit, we need garlic. Fuck. All right, we're gonna have to chop that up first. Going to my trunk, bending down to put something on the floor, so that I could open my trunk at the time. This was years ago. And the angle at which I bent down, suddenly water just started dripping out of my nose from my sinuses because it was just like trapped in there. And I'm thinking to myself, holy fuck, that's wild. I didn't feel it. I didn't like it. Okay, so you say it's not good, right? But it was literally just draining, and it was draining because I didn't have my head tilted the appropriate way to get it to drain originally. But like, it put into perspective, like, stuff inside your body you don't really realize is there until, you know, there's like a visual that reminds you. You know what it felt like? At first, I thought like I had a bloody nose. Like, I felt it coming down my nose. I was like, oh my god, no, not right now. Like, oh my god, it was so strange. Oh, we also need to do tomatoes, I think. Yup.
I did give it to you.
We
We did? I did. Hold on, let me.
Oh, I didn't pay for it because I hip hop.
Well, I paid for it. You just seem to be having a day, you know?
Wait, you sure?
Yeah.
Here we are. Never had a nosebleed? Oh.
Yeah, you have a.
I've had a nosebleed. Many nosebleeds, actually. In fact, one time I got dismissed from school because my nosebleed would not stop. True story. I ended up having to go to urgent care. Nothing was actually wrong, but for whatever happened or for whatever reason, it just wouldn't stop for a while. And they were concerned. And if you know anything about schools in the U.S., they want no liability. If something screams liability, they will send you home immediately. For example, I, as a diabetic, when my insulin, like, tubing for my insulin pump would either get kinked or need to be changed in the middle of school, they would require, I'm not kidding, they would require that I get checked out of school officially, have a family member come in, use one of the rooms in the nurse's office, in the presence of a family member who literally has never changed my tubing ever in my life, okay? And then sign back in. Alternatively, if my blood sugar was anywhere above, you know, norms or even slightly high, like again, it wouldn't matter if it was like slightly high. They'd be like, yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to send you home. And here's the reality. I understand where they're coming from because the school, again, doesn't want liability. But people who have asthma were not allowed to carry their inhalers. All inhalers had to be at the nurse's office, which I thought was fucking wild. You carry an EpiPen? No, you don't. Not in school. Nope. Nurse's office. Yeah, listen, that's how it fucking worked. I know this because I was a diabetic and at the nurse's office all the fucking time. Yep. And it's all because of liability. They wouldn't want somebody else to go into somebody's backpack, grab their EpiPen, use it in a way in which it shouldn't. That is the reality. Nothing was allowed. Literally, it didn't matter how small it was. You know what's wild? The fact that I had to get a... Oh my god. What was it? I had to get a... Oh my god, what the fuck is it called?
Here you go, sir. No,
Hold on. I pretty much had to like file for some kind of exception to carry my insulin pump with me. To be clear, my insulin pump, because it was, because it had a basal, which is essentially it's automatically giving me X amount of insulin over the course of an hour, right? Because it's administering insulin, which is medicine, and we've already discussed. Like I shouldn't have done anything outside of the nurse's office. They documented my blood sugar. They documented the carbs I ate. They documented how much insulin I gave myself, like everything, right? I had to get like this whole plan set up so that I could ensure that I could have my insulin pump with me.
Let's go. I'll buy you a combo.
All right, let me read up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we gotta go to the cheap stall.
There's self-care laws in most states. Daughter has to take the meds to the nurse on the first day of school for headaches. Yep. And Oz, when I was in school, people could do their own insulin and asthma shit. I wish. Our district doesn't even have full-time school nurses, so I'm glad those laws exist now. Oh yeah, 100%. That is like it's silly to not allow people to do those things. And here's the reality. I think there probably are cases in which somebody's inhaler goes missing or somebody took something out of someone's backpack, but 99% of people aren't going to be touching people's fucking inhalers and shit. Or like using them inappropriately. Like it's silly. Friend was type 1 and she would use her blood so her endocrinologist couldn't tell she was eating loads of candy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I did something similar. Not necessarily that, but not far off that either. That was so. I was very young at the time. I was very young. But yeah, I don't know when self-carry laws were put in. Self-carry medication laws. I'm curious. Let's see my state. Students who are self-medicating shall not have access to other students' medications. Parents or guardians may retrieve their prescription medication, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that self. School nurse may permit self-medication of prescription medication by a student, provided that the following requirements are met. I'll read them to you, chat, because I don't even know what they are. The student, school nurse, and parent/guardian, where appropriate, enter into an agreement which specifies the conditions under which the prescription medication may be self-administered. The school nurse, as appropriate, develops a medication administration plan which contains only those elements necessary to ensure safe self-administration of prescription medication. Listen, bruh, people who have this shit know what they're doing, okay? I'm just making that clear. The school nurse evaluates the student's health status and abilities and deems self-administration safe and appropriate. As necessary, the school nurse shall observe initial self-administration of the prescription medication. The school nurse is reasonably assured that the student is able to identify the appropriate prescription medication, knows the frequency and time of day for which the prescription medication is ordered, and follows the school's self-administration protocols. There is written authorization from the student's parent or guardian that the student may self-medicate unless the student has consented to treatment under, and then something, or authority permitting the student to consent, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, there's so many more things. Holy fuck. If requested by the school nurse, the license provider provides a written order for self-administration. The student follows the procedure for documentation of self-administration of prescription medication. Oh my god, this is a long one. The school nurse establishes a policy for the safe storage of self-administered prescription medication and, as necessary, consults with teachers, the student, and parent/guardian, if appropriate, to determine a safe place for storing the prescription medication for the individual student, while providing for accessibility if the student's health needs require it. Information shall be included in the medication administration plan, blah, 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 blah. How is this going to work? The student or the school nurse develops and implements a plan to monitor the student's self-administration. Monitoring may include teaching the student the correct way of taking the prescription medication, reminding the student to take prescription medication, visual observation to ensure compliance, recording that the prescription medication was taken, and notifying the parent, guardian, or licensed prescriber of any side effects, variation from the plan, or student's refusal or failure. See, that right there was everything. I could give myself my insulin, okay? But it had to be in the presence of the nurse at all times, from start to finish. Literally from start to finish. I'm very curious, like, where, and okay, administration of epinephrine. Public school district or non-public school as defined by the Massachusetts Department of Education may register with the department for limited purpose of permitting properly trained school personnel to administer epinephrine by auto-injector in a life-threatening situation during the school day when a school nurse is not immediately available, including field trips, provided that the following conditions are met. Oh my god, the fact that this even has to be discussed, bruh. Most people know what the fuck to do. Oh, that's so frustrating. What's the date on this? There is no date. How is there no date on this? All right, we need to keep cutting garlic. See. Okay, oh wait, I didn't read this part apparently. In the case of an inhaler or other preventative or emergency medication, whenever possible, a backup supply of the prescription medication shall be kept in the health room or second readily available location. Now that is specifically under the section titled Self-Administration of Prescription Medications. Okay. Nice. So just to clarify, it says the school nurse establishes a policy for the safe storage of self-administered prescription medication and, as necessary, consults with teachers, the student, and parent/guardian, if appropriate, to determine a safe place for storing the prescription medication for the individual student, while providing for accessibility if the student's health needs require it. Information shall be included in the medication administration plan. In the case of an inhaler or other preventative or emergency medication, whenever possible, backup supply of the prescription medication shall be kept in the health room or second readily. See, now that does make sense because it specifically states a backup, right? Which would imply that there should be medication on them, assuming they didn't take it out of their backpack or anything like that. Listen, I'm just glad that there's becoming more and more easily administered like emergency medication. A lot of people don't realize this, but as a diabetic, glucagon kits were always like the go-to. A glucagon kit it comes in a red container. It's got a large syringe and a vial of, it's like a powdered tablet. And the syringe has liquid in it. And you have to read instructions, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're winging it, right? Like, you have to read these instructions. So you have to take the liquid inside the glucagon kit syringe, you insert it into the vial that has that tablet powdery stuff. You then mix it up so it all, and then you pull it back into the syringe, and then you inject it to the person, right? That's how you're supposed to do it. Now, I don't actually have it right here, it's downstairs, but they have auto injector ones. You take the cap off, stab whoever the fuck it is in whatever location, and you're good. Now, to be clear, with auto injectors, chat, I hope y'all realize this, okay? Do not stab and pull out immediately, okay? It takes time. It takes time for that stuff to go in. It's either making a clicking noise, you can feel it, like something's happening. Don't pull that shit out instantly. But just an auto injector, same shit. And the great part is, there's even some additional one. Yeah, 10 seconds. Yep, you're right. 10 seconds is the safe bet, but do not immediately pull anything out with an auto injector. That shit takes time. So as a diabetic, I know this, when you're being injected with anything, if you are trying to get a large amount of liquid to go through a tiny hole that you just poked in somebody, that shit's gonna hurt. Not that pain in those situations matters,
what did
but like,
you just do?
they understand this and they know that they can't shove everything in instantly. It's no bueno. But there's other things. There's now like nasal things that are the equivalent of a glucagon kit. Now, to be fair, some of these you can't use on somebody who is like completely like unconscious, right? That's what glucagon kits were for. The auto injectors you can use on somebody who is unconscious. But like, there's shit is getting better when it comes to the application or administration rather of medication, which is nice. It's very nice to see. Your injections are incredibly painful. Luckily, they're once a month. Ooh. 20-second total sometimes. Ooh. You know, when I was very early on into being a diabetic, I was very, very young. I had an insulin pen that I just did not like. I didn't like having to scroll the thing to the appropriate units, putting it in, clicking it, hearing all the clicks, and then pulling it out and still seeing more squirting out, like, consistently every time. And then I just went back on normal syringes. And, well, I eventually went on an insulin pump. Eric, thank you for the 52 months. I appreciate it. But yeah, like, y'all, use this as a teachable moment. Auto injectors, you know, EpiPens, anything of the sort. If it's an auto injector, which pretty much means you're stabbing a person and clicking a button, let that shit go in. Take some time. Very thick viscous liquid and inject slow in the auto injector. Ooh, that's rough. Most auto injector stuff, even not just like not necessarily the auto, I shouldn't say auto injector. Most things that are spring loaded nowadays have insanely cut down on the amount of pain. And what I mean by that is, with CGMs, there are single-use CGMs. I say single-use, they are single-use, that come with spring-loaded devices that are super easy. And they don't hurt. Nobody believes me, okay? I'll make the sound, because I have a thing that makes it painless. Hold on. This one right here, this is for my infusion set, where my insulin goes, right? I'm going to press these buttons and, hold on. You hear that? Imagine that with a needle at the end, except you don't feel shit, okay? Now, for my CGM, it's this one. Let me click that and then press that. That shit doesn't hurt at all. How? Why? I don't fucking know. They've somehow figured out the exact amount of pressure needed with springs to make shit feel painless. Listen, I'm all for it too. So many injection meds for your son over the years. I can't pronounce that. Um, central line for infusion meds.
The big dog noodles, Wastelander.
And I've said it a million times. Nobody believes me until they do it themselves. But it is, you do have like the one off like every few months that like you may feel some pain, but my infusion set that's on me right now, I feel nothing. When I put it on and it was like injected with the tool thingy that it comes with, didn't feel it. Like, I couldn't tell you right now where my CGM is, where my infusion set is, or anything. Literally could not tell you. But people assume, oh, it's something on your body, you must feel it. That's not the case. Now, when I was younger, the CGM shit hurt bad. But like things have progressed so much, and technology's like introduction to the treatment of diseases and whatnot has been phenomenal. Like, for example, and I can speak on behalf of like the diabetes thing, being a diabetic, but one of my doctors, who is not related to diabetes, has a daughter, very young daughter, that is a diabetic, right? And she always asks me, you know, how's your diabetes, blah, blah, blah. We always go in depth because her daughter was actually there one time because she couldn't get daycare or something had happened, right? And she's like, so how do you like the insulin pump? And I was like, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And this is more recent. But like explaining to her that nowadays you can have a insulin pump or a CGM tied to a phone, so in the event where her blood sugar goes low, she was young but old enough to have a phone, referring to the daughter here, right? I forget the exact context here. It was like the actual baby needed a babysitter, but she couldn't find, found someone for the baby. The son didn't come to work with her, but the daughter, because she was old enough, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, long story short, I was explaining to her, there are now CGMs where you connect that shit to your phone, and if their blood sugar is low, you can get an alert on your phone. You don't even have to be next to them to get the alert. Like, that shit is invaluable for parents, especially parents newer to like learning everything and like figuring out patterns and doing shit like that. Like, listen, when I was younger, I've always my mom had a sixth fucking sense. Okay, when my blood sugar was low while I was sleeping, somehow she knew I was fucking sleeping. How'd she know that? And she, in my sleep, she would just test my blood sugar, and sure enough, and somehow it was only the fucking times that she did it, my blood sugar was actually low. Make that make sense. Oh yeah, absolutely. Parents can sleep easier through the night because they have the information in front of them, right? They don't have to sit there and question, did you test your blood sugar before you went to bed? Did you eat anything? No, like, you have an entire fucking graph of all of their blood sugars, their current blood sugar. If they're trending low, you can get an alert. And not only that, but if you're on an insulin pump, your insulin pump with the information of your blood sugar can suspend insulin delivery completely, can reduce it while it's going down already to prevent it from going too low. Hold on. And it's actually insane. Can Doggo tell when your blood sugar's off? No. Doggo's not that smart. But the point I'm trying to make, actually, you know what? Listen, I will give lots of credit to Abbott. I think it's Abbott that makes the Freestyle. Freestyle Libre 3, you can get a 1 month supply, and I know this is a lot of money, to be clear. I'm not saying this is cheap. but a 1 month supply, which is 2 Freestyle Libre 3s, which are 2 CGM sensors. They connect through Bluetooth or whatever the fuck to your phone, will alert you to low blood sugars. You can send people text messages if your blood sugar is low, like, or get alerts. Like, really fucking solid system, right? $150 for a 1 month supply. And while I know that's expensive, in the US, comparatively, that is cheap. Because 1 month supply of pills that probably cost under $1 to make end up being more expensive than shit like that. So to provide a medical device that connects to your phone, 2 of them specifically, that last 2 weeks each is kind of crazy.
Extra green onion in it.
And the level of peace of mind you would get with that information
Honestly, me too, and I didn't
is
know I have to poke.
crazy in comparison.
Thank you for
Oh, wait,
no problem. Thank you for
I don't
coming
see
to
it.
Big Dog Doodle. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll see you around in a few hours in my life. See ya.
Hello.
Hey, how can I help you?
Could I get 4 of your lamb donors and 4 halloumi fries?
Oh, this is Big Dog Noodles. We have.
Oh, this I'm so sorry.
Awkward.
Okay, if you want them, go right ahead. I don't take it offensively.
What with the Shinzo?
I was on autopilot.
See you later,
Awkward.
nerd. See you later, little cat.
What are y'all noodles again? I'm so sorry.
We have Big Dog Chow Mein, and then we have orange chicken.
All right, we can finally.
Just getting food for fun. So.
Okay, 4 of each.
Yes, please.
Oh shit.
So you go ahead.
You want any drinks with that?
We can finally prep. Well, I mean, we've been prepping, but
I don't feel bad.
Let's just do 4 drinks. I know they said they had some more.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
lamb. And we need halloumi fries.
All right, go ahead and swipe. I'll grab all of your food.
And then we need drinks. So we hit an annual out-of-pocket max the first week of January every year with your son. So listen, that good insurance is like night and day difference. Holy fuck.
Here you go.
Um,
Here's your chow mein.
yeah, drugs are incredibly expensive.
And then
Stupid expensive, in fact.
Thank you very much.
thank you for shopping at Big Dog Noodles.
You have yourself a good one.
You too.
Okay, sir. Here you go.
All right, we're gonna make a few more wraps, and then we'll
No, yeah.
we'll finally open now that we have everything to make it.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
We have 5 of each. Actually, you know what? We'll just open.
Drink? Only matcha? Alright.
There you are.
You swipe?
Yeah, she does. For a ride, though.
Hello, what can I get for you?
This is gonna be more perfect, brother. Let me get
Ava, right?
2 lamb donors. Let me get 2 halloumi fries and 2 times. Let's go with Rocker T this day.
All right,
I don't know.
go ahead and swipe. Just a second.
Mm-hmm. Take your time. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, here you are. There you go. In
Thank you very
there,
much. Appreciate it.
and there, and you're all set. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Do I want to subject myself to deliveries? I don't know if we'll have enough food. But here's the fucked up part. So specifically with insulin pump stuff, CGMs actually specifically, which typically connect to your insulin pump, it's up to the insurance carriers to whether or not they consider it a pharmacy benefit or durable medical equipment. And it varies wildly as to whether or not one is to the benefit of you. Because if it's a pharmacy benefit, most times it's more beneficial to get it that way. However, if you have durable medical equipment covered at 100%, obviously that's more beneficial. But some people have it covered at 50 or 80.
Hello. What can I get for you?
Who is this?
Ryan.
Ryan?
That's me.
I'm Ava.
Nice to meet you, Ava. We have
Nice
met
to meet
before. You come here frequently.
I'm pretty sure. My memory is absolute trash. Nice to
You
meet
have absolutely
again.
come here many times. It's a pleasure
Do you
to.
know what I'm gonna order? Let's see if you can guess.
I'm gonna say
Yeah?
lamb donor.
No.
Shit, chicken.
Yes.
Oh, okay, to be fair, I thought you may have said, because we were out of lamb for a long time, and when it came back, I thought you'd said, oh, the lambs, but maybe that was someone else.
That's definitely someone else.
Freya fries.
What's the packaging on that one?
It's got like the black,
Yes, that's the right one, the black packaging.
and Aran.
Say
Shit,
it again?
Aran,
Say it again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Aran,
I can't hear what you're saying. What was the drink again?
Booker T.
Yes, that's it.
Oh my god, I
Perfect.
knew it.
You got it.
How many of those would you like?
Dos.
All right,
That means two in Espanol.
perfect. And did you want more than 2 Rooker Teas? Or is 2 enough?
Two combos, the whole thing. The
Perfect.
chicken doner, the Booker Teas, and the Freya fries.
All right, go ahead and swipe.
Can I get 2 extra drinks with that? Oh yeah.
Go ahead and swipe and I'll get it ready for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Here we are. I only ask because a lot of times people will place the order and then be like, oh, can I get an extra Rooker tea or whatever? Because at least I understand the cups are a little small. It is what it is, but I always want to rule it out,
Definitely.
Never hurts. Here we are.
Really
But
does.
I hope your day's going well.
There's your noodles.
It is. I hope yours is going well.
Well, I've been prepping for the past few hours. There's a lot of prep that goes into all this.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Okay.
We are.
Hi.
Oh my god, everyone knows you.
That was one
Ava's
person.
pretty and popular.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
I love her. She's so sweet. Okay,
But yeah,
You go back to your prep, and I hope you have a great day.
I hope so too.
It's nice to meet you again.
You as well. You as well.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Health insurance in the USA confuses the hell out of you. It should. It is so fucking. Oh my gosh. All right. You want to know the? Listen, chat. When.
What can I get for you?
Can I please get 3 combos, please? I don't really mind what it is. Just a mixture of anything, really.
Dealer's choice.
Yes, please.
All right. Here we are. And did you want more than 3 drinks?
Nah. I am one of the few who just gives money to all the people businesses, so I'm gonna go next door and get some stuff as well after.
All right. Go ahead and swipe.
Thank you.
Here you are. And you're all set.
Thank
Have a
you,
good one.
appreciate it. You too.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi. Can I please have 3 combos, please? I don't really mind what it is. Just a mixture would be good.
Okay, you're getting all big dog chow mein.
Sounds wonderful.
But I'm very curious to know
Go ahead and
how new insulin pumps moving forward are going to be. It's unfortunate. The US is typically like, straight up was like well over a year behind because of like FDA issues or something